back to the Buzz on Biz, where we spotlight the people behind the businesses shaping our community. Today's guest is Kim Martin. She's a motivated speaker, behavior change coach, and founder of I Decided movement. With a rich background in fitness, wellness, and personal development, Kim has spent over 2 decades helping individuals discover their purpose and unlock their potential. In this episode, we dive into what drives motivation, how purpose fuels progress, and why helping others through guidance is at the heart of Kim's life and work. So, welcome to the Buzz on Biz, Kim.
Thanks, Bill. I'm excited to be here with you
I'm
on your
excited to talk
podcast.
to you. Yes.
Yeah.
So, Kim, for those who don't know you, what is the I've Decided community all about?
Okay. So, we're all about being our best self at the heart of it, right? It's all about surrounding yourself with other people who are on a similar journey, trying to be their best self, personal development, self improvement, growth, and connecting all the pieces of the puzzle for people to help them move along their journey of whatever goal they're trying to accomplish in their life. At the heart of it, it's about self improvement, personal development. What is God calling us to do? We all have, especially, Christians, we feel called in a lot of ways to do more, to give back out of gratitude and wanting to help other people. And so just having some guidance and being connected to all those pieces of the puzzle so that you can actually accomplish whatever it is that God is calling you to do.
Cool. So, how did your journey into motivation and purpose driven work begin?
Yeah. Well, I could sit here and talk to you all day about that, but I know we don't have that much time. So I'll try to shorten it as best that I can. Without sounding cliche like it fell into my lap, that's kind of what happened. At 24 years old, I walked into a Curves for the first time in my life, applying for a job. They were hiring a facility manager. And up until that point in my life, I'd been working in retail, knew nothing about health, wellness, nutrition. In fact, I was the opposite of what you would consider health, wellness, and nutrition, and had a lot of bad habits, a lot of probably bad attitude, and just looking for a job that didn't I didn't have to drive over an hour one way and just the retail hours on top of that. I was just looking for something that wasn't so crazy. And I applied for the job and they hired me, and that began truly the journey to where I'm at today, and what led me to I decided over the years through Curves coaching women, getting certifications. I've been certified through the Zig Ziglar program, the Ken Blanchard leadership program, and just my own personal transformation and watching these women in Curves transform, and really all through mindset is what brought me to believing that I could take it outside of those doors into our community and really help more people. We cater to women at Curves, and so I just think we all could use what we can provide through I Decided, and so that's kind of what that's a really short version
Okay,
of
so you talked a
where
lot
I'm at
about
now, and almost 53 years old as it relates to mindset coaching and behavior change.
women and stuff in curves. So, as I've decided only for women.
Nope, I've decided is a co-ed organization. And so we have members that are women and men, of course. And yeah, so it's a combination. While, women tend to be a little more easier to convince to work on themselves and their improvement, men not to, I think it's changing, but there's a little ego and pride, a little. Not that women don't have that too, but I can see that even in my husband when I first started. I decided, he kind of scuffed it off like, yeah, I don't need that, but now he's all into it. He realizes, hey, this is awesome, and it's really helped me. And so we have about 60% female, 60 to 65% female, and then about 35 to 40% male is kind of the breakdown. So a little more women than men, but it is a co-ed business.
Okay, so that brings the next question then. In your experience, what's the biggest barrier that keeps people? Let's talk about women on one side and men. So what's the biggest barrier that's keeping them from discovering their purpose? Is there a difference between
While
men and women?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, sorry. Yeah, while I think, in a lot of ways, women and men are the same when it comes to accomplishing our goals, obviously, we are different as it relates emotionally. So I think, for women, I think it's just trying to do it all. I think the biggest barrier is that we're raising our families, we're taking care of our homes, we're working full time, we're trying to take care of ourselves. And then it just becomes a time factor where you might have this dream in your heart. I hear this all the time, especially at curves with the women who are, going into their late 50s, 60s, even 70s. And they think, I had this dream. I've always wanted to do XYZ. And now it's too late. I just think it's too late. And it's never too late. So I think that the barrier for women is early on, busy with family, kids, work, and they don't take the time and they don't feel like they can invest in themselves. And then they get to a point where then they go, well, if I'd have started a long time ago, now it's kind of too late. So I think that's probably the biggest barrier. And with men, I just think it sounds, guys are tough, strong, and there's that attitude like I don't necessarily need that. I can do this for myself.
Mhm.
So they kind of feel like I can motivate myself. I'm a tough, strong guy. I'm leading my family, I'm supporting my family or whatever. And sometimes it's they don't realize that they actually need it. In general, I think men typically are a little more goal oriented just because we'll just say in my opinion, um, I think that's just how they were designed as the role of the, provider, right? And protector. So they're definitely a little more goal oriented. Not that women aren't, it's just that we can get a lot on our plate. So I guess that, those are my opinions. I don't necessarily want to argue statistics or anything. Those are totally opinions and not been proven, but that's just based on my
Sure.
experience.
No problem. Yeah. Um, so now you talk between men and women. What about you've worked with individuals at all stages of their life? So what does motivation look like at different points in someone's journey? And you talked about that a little bit with the women.
Yeah.
Um,
So I think motivation is the same no matter what stage in life you are. It's just how you see motivation. And so some people go, I'm self-motivated. And while there is some elements of that could be true, meaning you might be more of a go-getter kind of personality, like to get things done. Motivation in the sense that I speak about motivation and what we mean by motivation is really revelations. So it's hearing or getting an understanding of information that you kind of already have in your mind. So it's hearing something that you may already know in a different way or that enlightens you so that you can see how it actually personally connects with you. And it's in that moment where you have that aha, that light bulb, right? We all know that feeling like when someone's explained something to you and then all of a sudden it makes sense. So now it's like taking the head knowledge and connecting it to the heart knowledge. And all of a sudden there's this combustible feeling inside of you. Now I get it. I have to do something, right? I got to do something about this understanding. And so it's what catapults you forward. It's that energy within that revelational aha moment that says you've got to go. You've got to do it. And that's the type of motivation that we're talking about, and that cannot be self-implemented. Those aha revelations have to come from hearing, seeing, or learning something, generally from someone else, or maybe even in a book or on a podcast or something, but it's coming from an outside source that gives you that aha revelation moment when we're talking about motivation. So that type of motivation, really, I don't care if you're 5 years old, you could be a year old, 5 years old, 15 years old, 25, 50, 100. That's the same type of motivation. It's just going to be at a different maturity level, maybe.
All right. So can you share a story where you saw someone completely transformed because they found their why? Because as you were talking about motivation, I think at a certain point, the motivation can become their why. Um,
Their why can be that motivation once, because that could be an aha moment, right? Where you realize, wow, this is why I want to do this so badly. And although I do, while it can be a little bit different for everybody, there's some similarities in that as well. But I can speak to a lot of people. We just celebrated Graceland Senior Center with Peggy Hawkes, who joined. I've decided nearly 7 years ago, and I've watched her transform to take an idea of having a senior center to now actually having that not for profit, having people coming to the senior center. She just had her first gala with over 200 people there. And so I could share stories like that. But there's no better, I think, success or than a personal testimony of my own transformation. And and my life started transforming when I realized that I have a purpose here, that I'm not just in this life by chance, that I think I've been created by the Almighty. I think there is a God, a creator of the universe, who created me with a purpose in mind. And I believe I'm going to meet him one day. And I believe that through my Christian faith in Jesus Christ. I believe I have a Savior who allows me the opportunity to go to heaven and to stand before God. And I believe that He's gonna say, "Well done," or I you did exactly what I wanted you to do, or why did you waste all of the talents that I gave you? And so, for a couple reasons, one, I want to tap into every possible thing that God wants me to do here on earth. I know I've messed up a big chunk of a part of my life, but I know He's factored in all those mistakes and He's made it right, and we're back on track. And so, I want to not waste the talents that He's given me. And I want to be able to hear, "Well done, my good and faithful servant." And believe it or not, I have daughters. Of course, I want them to be proud of their mom. I want them to, I think about at the end of my life, at some people might think I'm weird for thinking about these things, but I just do. I envision is the second step to success. So I envision things constantly. I'm always envisioning the future, where I'm going to be, what I want to do. I think about when I'm 100, I want to run a 5K at 100. So I'm constantly envisioning. So I think about at the end of my life, what are my daughters going to say at my eulogy? I want them to be proud. I want them to say, "My mom had dreams and she did it." And that does motivate me, but it's not the biggest why. My biggest why is the afterlife. My biggest why is what's coming when I take my last breath. And it truly motivates me to work hard, to dig in, to keep going when I want to give up. And it's transformed my life. And then all the other things follow behind it. And then really there's that gratitude. It's the gratitude that says, "Thank you, Jesus, for what you've done for me. The least I can do is to be a good servant and a steward of what you've given to me in this life. So, that's the best nothing's better, I think, than a personal testimony. And that's my personal testimony. And that's my personal why. And it truly has transformed my attitude, my life, everything.
Oh, thanks for that, Kim. Thank you very much. So, from what I hear, you're doing a lot. There's a lot of things that you're doing in your life. So, how do you balance your personal ambition with the act of serving and guiding others?
Yeah. So, well, the first thing is I try not to think too much about balance because I know there's people out there that speak on a balanced life and all that good stuff, and not to negate what they're trying to do. Um, for me personally, it's about prioritizing, because to try to balance then just seems awful stress. I just get this vision of trying to balance on a board and the stress. If you lean a little too much this way or a little too much that way, how stressful that would be. So for me, it's more about prioritizing. It's like, what's the important thing today? Um, that's what's important today, and then we'll figure it out. And from there. And so I, I've always self-care is extremely important to me. I am the person that preaches give yourself oxygen first. And so I do that for myself. I take care of myself. I get up early, I go to bed early, I work out, I eat well. I'm not perfect. I have moments like everybody else, but in general, I get my nails done. I do things to fill my own little cup up. And then I prioritize the rest of my life in the order it's necessary. So first and foremost is God, and I do that every morning with prayer and reading my Bible. And that's the most important thing to me, and I prioritize that above all things. And then second is my husband. He's next on the list. And then of course our children and the rest of my family after that, and then my business. And so there are things that I prioritize in family life that business will not trump, that family would always trump. And I used to joke with my daughters because of course they were in sports and things. And I would give them the I'd give them the guideline. I would say, okay, here's the deal. If it's a home game and it's at the high school, if it's a home game here at your high school, I will never miss a game unless I'm in the hospital. You can guarantee I will be there. If I had to put a sign on my business door that said closed, be back in an hour and a half, I would, because I would not prioritize the business over that scenario. And then I drew the line though. It's like, okay, well, they played volleyball and then they played club volleyball. Well, club volleyball to me is kind of practice. It's like it's an extended version of practice so you can get better, so you can have a better chance of being in the game in high school, right? And so, but they would have weekend tournaments the whole weekend. And I told the girls, I can't sit in a gym for an entire weekend for club volleyball. I love you girls. I will watch as much as I can, but I'm not staying all weekend. And they were like, Mom, that's totally fine. So I drew the line. It's like there are some parents that go, I'm not missing nothing no matter what. And that might be fine for them. But for me, I have a lot of things that I want to accomplish and a lot of things that I want to do well. And so I just drew the line. You just draw the line in the sand at what you're willing to do and what is not necessary and what makes sense for you. So it's just one little example, but and then I delegate. I have things that I just don't take the time to do. Like there are things like I have someone help me clean my house. I mean, people get paid to do that. They earn a living doing that. And it's a win-win. you know, um, the person who helps me so much, I know she's thankful for her job and I'm thankful for. And so there's some things that I just say, you know what? I'm not taking the time to do that. Someone else would rather do it so they can earn a living. And then there's things like that too that you delegate. So delegating things to other people, but it's really about prioritizing what's important today. What's the most important thing today?
I
And
love
that's how
that.
I
So
roll.
people you're listening, I think that is great information. Instead of balancing things, prioritize and delegate. And
Yes.
that'll help your life out a lot.
And if I start feeling overwhelmed, like if I start, I mean, everybody has a moment of overwhelm. I mean, something comes at you that you weren't expecting, and you're going to feel a sense of overwhelmed sense that's going to come over you. Um, but in general, that should be fleeting. If I start to feel overwhelmed and it's coming daily, I will quickly go, what is happening here? Why? What do I need to do differently? Because you can't be productive in a state of overwhelm. It just is not good.
Good. That's right. So, Kim, so what role does community and connection play in helping people to stay motivated?
A big role because accountability is king. So you need to surround yourself with people who care about you, truly, genuinely want to see you be successful, and will be a cheerleader and cheer you on, but also remind you of what it is you're wanting to accomplish. So, community is really another way of saying accountability, right? It's another way of saying, I have this group of people who know what my goals are. And not only do they know what my goals are, but they want to see me accomplish them. And they care so much that if they see me falling off of not doing what I should be doing, they would gently nudge me back on track. Not with judgment, not with, see, you're not doing, but just saying, hey, remember, you decided that you wanted to do this. So, yeah, try to work on getting back. What can you do to get back on track? So, and then it's also a place of contribution. So once we think about the inspiration being a piece of the puzzle for success. You need to have inspiration, but there's no better inspiration than success stories inspire you and say, hey, if they can do it, I can do it too, right? So within that community, you've got those success stories, you've got that inspiration, you've got accountability, you've got support, people cheering you on, and then you have contribution. You can give back to them and give your information and your input and your support to them, and contribution is a piece of the puzzle for success. And so it 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 really is. I don't think anyone can tap into their full potential without community, period.
You can't be a lone ranger out there.
No. I've not ever seen that work for anyone, not well. And if somebody says it does, I don't believe them.
Right. All right. So, what tools or habits do you recommend to someone who's feeling stuck or unmotivated?
Yeah, well, the first thing I think, what happens generally if we're feeling stuck, it's because we're kind of ruminating on some negative thoughts. And we need to figure out a way to nip that in the bud. But my favorite quote, I use it all the time. It's in our success workbook and journal, and you've heard me say it a million times, is the emotion follows the action. So if you're feeling stuck or spinning your wheels, you literally have to force yourself to do something productive in the right direction towards a goal that you want to accomplish. And that's the first thing. So the first thing is you just have to make yourself do something, because the emotion will follow the action. Okay, you won't feel like doing it, but you have to make yourself so you can get out of that funk. But obviously, I feel we help people achieve their goals through coaching, content, and events. So obviously, I'm going to say coaching, content, and events. Because I think that, you got to have someone that you're talking through things with, or a group. We do group coaching every Monday at 1:30, and I've decided. So you've got to have people or someone you're talking through things with, getting some advice back. You need content that's giving you some information and encouragement and helping you stay on track. And you need events where you can show up, learn, and be surrounded by other people. So, um, I'd be remiss if I didn't say coaching, content, and events.
So it goes back to what you said earlier about community, because if you're involved in the community, then you can have accountability, and that can help spur encouragement from them too, and get you
Yes.
out of that stuck or unmotivated phase to provide that movement and then you get that emotion.
Yep. That's right.
So let's see, what's next for I've decided, and how can people get involved or benefit from what you are building?
Yes. So, at this point, we're just moving along, growing, trying to grow our membership. We hope to continue to grow. That's our journey. And then you can get involved easily, join our community. But the best way I think to learn about our community is to show up for an event. And so if you're kind of feeling stuck or spinning your wheels, then here is an event that you can force yourself to take action to. We have two events a month where we come together, and our next one will be on Tuesday, August the 5th. It's always, let me take the date out of it because who knows when someone might be watching this. So forget about the date. It's always the first Tuesday of every month. So whenever you happen to be watching this, the next one will be the first Tuesday of the month, and it's from 4:30 to 6 at our I've Decided campus, and it's networking with an emphasis on setting goals. So we come together, we network, build relationship, and we set goals for the month. That's why we do it on the first Tuesday. And then the second opportunity is the third Thursday of every month is our monthly community networking and learning. And so that's networking with an emphasis on learning something or sharing what we do with each other and just building relationship. And that's on the third Thursday from 8:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. So two opportunities that someone could come, and guests are always welcome to attend one or two times to check out our community. And then, of course, the memberships are on our website at ivedecided.org. Ivedecided.org. And we have a Facebook page and pretty easy to find.
Yeah, and just to let all of our listeners and viewers know, I'll have a I'll have all that information so you can contact Kim and find out more about I've decided at the end of this
Yes.
podcast.
Thank you.
So, I'm gonna pivot a little bit. So, with all the buzz nowadays of AI, do you
Yes.
use AI in your business or your personal life? And if so, how are you using it?
Yes. So I use AI mostly as an editor or to capture an idea. So and sometimes just I've kind of been treating it kind of like Google. Sometimes I just want to know some information. When I'm reading my Bible, it's actually quite amazing what AI knows everything. If I'm reading my Bible and I don't quite understand a scripture, I'll go to Chat GPT and I'll say, what does this scripture mean, in Hebrews 1:11? What is that talking about? And it gives me great insight. While I do take it with a grain of salt, it's still, I can pull out the pieces that I know are true, and it just kind of gives me good information and helps me understand and get clarity. That I use, so that would be a personal example. And for business, I write content every single week, and I write the content for our I've Decided community, which is a weekly winning resource. And then, of course, I write an article in that weekly winning resource. And so I put everything that, I write the content, and then I upload it into Chat GPT and ask Chat GPT to edit it, which is so amazing because I don't have an editor, obviously. So my mistakes and errors have been minimal since doing that. And then also, sometimes it takes what I've written and reword it a little to make it sound better and add some information to it to improve it. And so I use it for that. Uh, at this point, I know there's so much more you can do with AI. I know I want to learn from you in all of that, and I hope to. Um, but those are just the basic things that I use it for at this point.
All right. Well, thank you for that. So is there anything else you want to talk about? This is your time to do you want to bring up anything about curves or anything for
Well, of
the
course, I
ladies
could talk about
viewers?
I could talk about curves all day. So yeah, I own Curves in Peoria, and Curves is a fitness and nutrition facility for women. And I love Curves. I've been doing it for almost 30 years. It's a 30-minute strength training, and there's a few things that I love the most about it. The sisterhood, talk about community. We have an amazing sisterhood. We welcome all women who come in, and we just wrap them right into our sisterhood really quickly. And it's just that's just the awesome part. But the next two best things I think is that the workout starts right when you get there. Um, you don't have to be there at a certain time. Women are busy. We talked about that earlier in the podcast. Women are busy trying to get it all done, and to have to be somewhere at a certain time, that's difficult. And if you miss that time, you missed your workout. Where at Curves, it's not like that. Anytime during business hours, the workout starts when you get there, and you literally get a head to toe cardio and strength training workout in 30 minutes. And it's proven. We have over $6 million invested in our research, and Cleveland Clinic has backed what we do and proved out our system. And so I'm there a lot, and I'd love to if there's anybody who happens to be watching and you're a woman and you want an awesome workout in an awesome environment, come see me. It's great.
Well, thank you for that, Kim. So, as we finish here, do you have any offers or anything you want to let people know about your I decided or your curves?
Sure. Well, with I've decided they're both membership basis, right? They both are membership organizations. So we want to encourage you to join us. And with I decided, you can join our I decided community for as low as 39 bucks a month. It's very inexpensive for all the things that you get. So that's awesome. And then right now with Curves is the best time of the year to join. We only offer this once a year in July and August, and you can join and get if you become a member, you get your first 2 months for free. So that is the deal. And this is the time to join if at all possible. So that's what we're offering. And I would love to see you at I've Decided, and I'd love to see you at Curves as well.
Oh, great. Well, thank you very much, Kim. So, listeners, viewers, Kim Martin has reminded us that motivation isn't just a feeling. It's a powerful force that, when rooted in purpose, can change lives. Whether it's through her coaching, her community work, or her I've Decided platform, Kim's mission is clear: help others rise by reconnecting them to their purpose. If today's episode resonated with you, take the first step: decide. Because when you do, you just might unlock the potential that's been waiting all along in your life. So, thank you. Thanks for tuning in to the Buzz on Biz podcast. We hope you enjoyed learning about another incredible local business making a difference. This podcast is brought to you by To Grow My Biz, where we help small businesses grow smarter using automation and AI. If you're a small business owner looking to save time, generate more leads, or stop losing leads, and want to serve your customers better, we're here to help. So visit togrowmybiz.com/call-bill to schedule a quick call and let's talk. Or you can check out our tools and services at togrowmybiz.com and our AI site, ai.togrowmybiz.com. We'd love to help you grow. Let's talk soon, and we'll see you on the next episode of the Buzz on Biz.